Good afternoon, everybody. I really need these. We might just have to start taking the glare. I just can't see without them. Hope everybody's doing great today. Welcome to Facebook Live Sunday. Get that down a little bit. Hope everybody's doing great. We'll get started here in just a minute for today's lesson. Hey, it's Sunday again. I can't believe it. Hey, Cookie. Y'all are from all over the place. I'm watching your comments. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live Sunday here at the Beehive. Hope everyone has had a great weekend so far. Yeah, it's that time again. We are going to learn some really, really fun little In the Hoop project today. I know I do a lot of In the Hoop projects, but to me, they're a really great way to learn IQ Designer. And those of you who have my brother, my design center, I swear, every time I get on here, my allergies go crazy. One more time. There we go. Okay, I'll try to stop doing that. I mean, the more times you can push those buttons, the better, right? And that's only going to help you learn. So if you are new to the group, welcome. We're so glad to have you here in our little group of goodness. Here, what we do is we learn a lot about, okay, I'm just going to take them off. I'm trying to hide from them. Here at the group, what I like to do is hopefully inspire you to jump on your machine and make things. I always say we buy these really super expensive machines and we get home and we're like, what now? Well, that's why I'm here, and that's why there's so many great educators out there that are doing videos and have groups. I am a baby lock educator, so of course I teach on the baby lock machines, and we do use this cool built-in program in our machine to build things and to stitch them out. But don't let that discourage you if you don't have a baby lock or a machine that has that program, because think about this. If you have software, embroidery type of software, you can go and build this in your software and bring it over to your machine. So think about that. You may have some of the same features in your software, or at least you can build the design and, put your own touch onto it. If you have Palette 11 and you do not have a machine that has IQ Designer, you can do the exact same thing that I'm doing in Palette 11 and bring the design over to your machine. So just think about that. I know it seems like I'm a one-trick pony with Baby Lock. However, you can always learn something. So I appreciate you all being here. And let's see if there's any questions, comments, or concerns so far. Are you allergic to us? No, I live in Florida. I'm allergic to everything. That's the thing about, growing up in Florida is we have so much mold, and not necessarily, I'm not talking about mold in your house. I'm talking about outside, because it's always moist. It's always wet. It's always humid. It's always this. We hardly get dry days. Like in my house, the humidity stays at about 50%. And I run my house really cold because I'm hot natured. And so it doesn't matter it's always wet, I guess you could say. And so we have lots of mold, we have lots of ragweed, we have, you know, moss, we have pollen year round. And guess who's allergic to it all? My poor mother had to deal with me being this way my whole life. So I'm not allergic to you guys. I love you guys. You guys have been my rock for a year. So I appreciate you all. You've kept me going, which is really, really fun. Oh, you're welcome, Rosie. Okay, so today we're going to talk about making a bookmark in IQ Designer. And this is a really quick, fun little gift project. I know I've seen tons of them out there. I just, you know me, I like to put my own spin on things, and it's going to be fairly simple, really quick and easy and cute to make. And you can personalize it however you want. I just used an initial, but I know you guys, y'all get into your machines and y'all start putting all kind of beautiful, crazy designs on things when I let you go, and y'all make me jealous. So you can put anything you want on there. We're going to use the fill feature. And of course, we're going to build the In the Hoop project as well. And it's, oh, well, I guess I should show you, right? And it's just very basic, but you know, it's going to show you a lot of skills. So this is mine. I thought it was so cute. I didn't have any tassels. I was sitting here this morning going, I don't have tassels and I don't have time to make a tassel. Yes, there's some, I wonder if I have it here. I do. If you ever want to make your own tassels, this is Jenny's Magic Tassel and Fringe Maker. I know it doesn't look like much, but it's really helpful. It's got markings, it's got cutouts, it's got this great area. If you ever want to make a tassel for something, I say pick one of these up. It's an R&K product. And let me show you, I'll just show you that I have used it before with this cute project that, let me just pull it down. Oh, I just broke something. Well, that's normal. So you can make these super cute little tassels here. And these little free motion hexes are from Hope Yoder's, Hope Yoder, or Designs by Hope Yoder, excuse me. So you can get those. And I used metallic thread. Well, anyways, but look how pretty that tassel is. And I put a little crystal up top, and it's just so adorable. So if you want to make tassels, like I said, I didn't have time to make my tassels. Yeah, it is very cute, isn't it, Ernestine? It's I just like these little things. I'll tell you a secret. I still, hang out and work along with Hope in the sense of if she needs something made, then I will make them for her. And she had me make these. And of course I made one for myself, but wouldn't these be pretty on a Christmas tree? But I kept, I made one for myself. I need to make some more, so maybe I can put them on my Christmas tree this year. So if you're looking for this cute little idea and project, that's a Designs by Hope Yoder project. Anyways, getting back to tassels. So if you wanted to add, yeah, it is very feminine. It's so sweet. I don't even want to take it away from my face. It's so pretty. I just want to go like this. This is all embroidery thread, by the way. I didn't use any special thread. This is all metallic embroidery thread. Okay. All right, let's get rid of that. So we'll just set it over there because that's not why we're here. But I wanted to let you know that there are some cool tools out there for that. Okay, so back to our bookmark. Well, there's always a little something up there, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't have anything. What do I have? I have ribbon, boring. And I'm like, well, I have some rickrack, and I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. Of course, now I want a tassel, so I might remake it. Yeah, Sophie, that's all metallic thread. So you can use metallic embroidery thread and make it that way. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, so let's talk about what aspects that we're going to use on the machine on this. So we're going to build this in the Who. We're going to use the fill feature, which this one came out really pretty. And then at the bottom, I didn't put that circle around there. It just happened to fall just perfectly with the design. And then I just put my little initial right here. Now, again, you can go and you can put a bunch of little things up there. You can do it however you want. I just did a simple basic rectangle with rounded edges. I have fabric on the back. I love this fabric. We have this at the shop. And as soon as it came in, one of my friends and customer came in and she's like, oh, I'm going to make something with that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to make something with that. I had to get it too. And, but you notice that there is, okay, so we have our satin stitch on the edges, but when I flip it around, I want you to know that you don't see any of the bobbin thread in the bottom. That's because I use the same color bobbin as this last thread. Everything else was done with traditional bobbin thread. But in that very last step, I just used, I wound a bobbin in this purple thread. So I'm going to go through designing it with you. I'm going to go through stitching it out just so you can see how it all goes together. So it might take a little bit, but who cares? We're here to hang out, right? Yeah, Diane. I know. Y'all, yeah, no, it's like when you and me and Kathy went to that little shop, I'm like, oh Lord. You know, it's like when you're with your friends, you just want to buy stuff. It's so fun. Okay, so let's talk about what you would need for this. Now, I'm probably not going to write up directions. You can just always rewatch the videos to get directions and all that. Some things I just don't have, I hate to say this, I just don't have time for sometimes to write directions for this. But this one's easy enough that if you just rewatch the video, you'll be able to spit it out right then and there. By the way, I lied to you guys last week. I thought that was video 38. It was actually video 40, and today is 41. What? Hey. So we're almost to our year anniversary, guys. Can you believe it? So cool. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to need. First off, 5x7 hoop, so we don't have to use a very big hoop for this. And I am, if you've taken kind of a class with me, and you do a in the hoop project, and it has that satin edge, you know, I like to use a wash away stabilizer. And that is because in general, most of us have polyester embroidery thread. If you had rayon thread, we would be using a regular no-show mesh because we could do what we call burning out of the hoop. But with polyester thread, we cannot put a heat tool to that thread because what happens is it can melt the thread. So I like to use a wash away mesh stabilizer. And what will happen is we'll cut it out of the hoop, and then we'll kind of melt with water the stabilizer on the edges. I do not like using a tearaway on these because you always see those little pokies on the side, and it doesn't look what I would consider professional. But you know, I know a lot of times people use it and they can get it torn really beautifully. But every time I've tried projects that have a satin edge that's made in the hoop and I try to rip it away, I get all those little papery pieces and I hate them. They drive me crazy. So that's why I'm suggesting that you use a wash away mesh. Am I early? Gosh, I hope not. It's 5:14. Nope, I'm not early, Julie. I'm never early. I'm either late or on time. If it's in the morning, I'm going to be late. Okay, so then what we need is about a 4" by 8" strip of fabric for our background fabric. And when I say background, I mean the front here. And I've just got some regular grunge here. I love grunge fabric. But what I have done is I have fused a piece of fusible fleece to the back of it. So if you're not used to that, you can see it adds a little bit of thickness to it. You can use a piece of batting. Batting is fine. And because, you know, we want it to kind of have that quilted look because, you know, I'm a quilter, can't help it. So I already have that fused to the back. If you're using a batting, then just use a little bit of adhesive spray to put them together and it should be fine. Then I have my backing piece. Here's the other part of that collection. Isn't that so cute? I mean, perfect for bookmarks. So adorable. So I have my backing fabric and I actually have it fused to a piece of interfacing. And interfacing is always a great product to add more body to your fabric, especially cotton fabrics. It'll make them a little bit stronger. And the reason why I decided to do that is because when I put my piece on, when I made my sample, I don't know if you may not be able to see it as much as I can, but I didn't put any interfacing on the back piece and it's kind of wrinkly. And so I was like, well, how can I make this look better as well as give it a little bit more stability? And if you take a little bit of interfacing, like Shape Flex made by Pellon, um, R&K makes some great ones, Floriani makes some great ones, Embellish makes some great ones. I mean, they're all out there. So you just take a little piece of that and you'll fuse it to the back side of the fabric. And that's just going to add it. I mean, you can almost see how it's almost kind of papery versus a piece of regular cotton. And then I have my little piece for my top. I just went ahead and grabbed some more rickrack because rickrack's just so adorable. And this is a 5-inch piece. So let's talk about that again. So we need our wash away mesh stabilizer. Go ahead and hoop it into a 5x7 hoop by itself. You will need a 4x8-inch piece of fabric for your background fabric. With that piece, you want either to fuse it to a piece of the same size of fusible fleece or have a piece of batting the same size. Your backing is going to be a 4x8 as well, and I did fuse that to a piece of interfacing the same size, and then a 5-inch. If you're going to do it like this, a 5-inch piece of ribbon or something like that. If you have a tassel or something, that I don't see, it doesn't really matter how long it is, right? So there we go. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the camera and we're going to start designing this little puppy. Are y'all all ready? Be fun. It's going to be really cute. Now, today I am working on the Solaris, but remember, please, please, please remember that everything that I'm doing on here, you can do on your Destiny, you can do on your Altair, you can do on your Meridian. I will let you know what's different. If you're on a brother machine that has My Design Center, any of those machines, you can do that on. So don't worry about it. And what would you use in the R&K brand? It's Dreamweave Cookies on here. She can spit out some Cookie, would you mind putting up some of your some of the interfacings from either Floriani or Embellish for me? If you're still on here. She can let us know. So, because Cookie's an amazing Embellish educator, and she stops in and says hi for a while. So if she's still on here, I'll have her put that up for you, Betty. Okay. All right, we're going to switch it around and let's get to work. All right, there we go. Okay, there's the one I made previously. So you can see how it's going to kind of come out. Let me turn a couple things off and get everything adjusted. There we go. Move this guy back a little bit so we can see the whole screen. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So I'm actually just going to take myself home. Oh, another thing that I kind of mentioned to you, but I just wanted to show you is for most of the embroidery, I'm going to have regular embroidery bobbin thread. For the very last step, the satin stitch, I'm going to have the same thread. See this purple thread? This is the same embroidery thread as my last stitch, and I just wound it onto a bobbin. I'm not going to use it for the whole thing. I'll just use it for the very end piece. So we'll talk about when to switch that bobbin over. Let me go ahead and put this, my regular bobbin in with my finishing touch bobbin thread. Now I have found, I don't know if you guys are able to get this, but maybe you can. I have found that the finishing touch thread works beautifully with the Baby Lock machines. And I like it better. It comes with, you get one spool with your machines, right? And when you're done with that, you're like, well, where do I go next? If you can get the finishing touch, to me, your machine likes it so much better. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it just does. All right, here we go. Let's get to work. Let's get to bookmark making. All right, so the very first thing that we are going to do is we are going to go into IQ Designer. Again, if you are on a Brother machine, you can go to My Design Center. Okay, let me move your questions closer to me so I can see. There we go. All right, so let's select IQ Designer. And what I have already done, and I'm not quite sure, let me lighten my screen a little bit so you can see it a little bit. Yeah, a little bit better. What you can see on my screen is I have this box here. That is just a guide box of a 5x7 hoop. And that just kind of helped me when I was deciding sizes and all that for this. What you want to do to get that on there is you want to come up to, now it is not required, absolutely 100% not required, but if you like to see the size hoop you're working in, you can always come up here to the top where there's that little piece of paper, that is your settings. So if I click on that, you will automatically see embroidery frame display, and that's all it is a display. And you can see where it says frame size right here, and I can come through here and choose whichever one I want. I can even have it not even show up if I want to. So right here, I have mine set to 5x7. Like I said, this is not detrimental. You do not have to have this on. It's just a guide. So you will see mine right there. The first thing that we want to do is build our rectangle shape. So we have this little button right here that is a circle square, and that is basically your shapes key. That's where you can find shapes. So let's click on that. And then I have choices. I can go with a square. I can go with a square with rounded edges. I can go with this rectangle that has rounded edges. And that's the one that we're going to use today. So we're just going to click on that and then select OK. What you will notice is it comes in and it's really large. Well, we don't need it to be that big. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change the size of it. And to do that, I'm going to come down here and click on the size key. And I want it to be 2 inches by 6.5 inches. So that's 2 inches by 6.5 inches. So I can come to my unproportional keys. Now these two right up at the top, if I were to use these are your proportional keys. And what that means is that it will shrink everything at the same rate. And we don't want to do that. We want to make it our own size. So I can use this key right here. It's the rectangle with the arrows going in, and I can squish it all the way down to right around 2 inches. There we go. So I'm at 2 inches now. And I am using a mouse, by the way. You can always use a mouse. And in one of our videos, we actually made a mouse pad, so you can always go back and find that one. Now what I need to do is take it and shrink it in from the 7.06 inches to around 6.5. So what I want to do then is come right underneath that, and you'll see that the rectangle is going vertical with the arrows going in. I'm going to use that one to go to about 6.5. Perfect. Yes, Cookie. Yeah, thank you for putting that in there. That's exactly what I needed. Perfect. Okay. Cookie just listed the underlays from the R&K products. Okay, so now I have my shape here. What I want to do when I'm done with that is select OK, and now we're going to go to rotate. And I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees one time. and now it's up and down. So now you can see the shape, right? You can see the shape of your bookmark. Perfect. I will then select OK if I'm still in the rotate key. And now what I want to do is assign it a stitch. Right now, it will automatically assign it a satin stitch, and we don't want that. We need basically a placement stitch. So I'm then going to come here, and what you have is you have two groupings of icons that look very similar. These four at the top, right here, these are your line properties. These four underneath it, these are your fill, F-I-L-L properties. So let's go up to the line properties right up here at the top, and we're going to select this little piece of paper, and it'll bring me to this screen. What I want to do first is select the running stitch, and then select a color. I usually always start with green. I don't know why, I just do. So I'm going to select that color green and select OK. The next thing I need to do is right where I just was in those four icons, I need to come up to the bucket, and I'm going to turn that bucket on. And how I know it's on is that it highlights blue when I select it. If you're on a Destiny, it will probably highlight gold, I believe. So with that, I'm going to come down here over to my rectangle, and I'm going to tap directly on my rectangle, and it'll turn green. So you should see yours turn whatever color you selected. What I've done now is change that property of that line to a running stitch. This is going to be our tack down stitch. Now, the most important thing you want to do right here is come down to memory and select memory, because we're going to use this shape over and over again, and you don't want to build it each time you come in an IQ Designer, just because, you know, I'm lazy. I want to just go pull it out. So I'm going to select memory, and you have a choice. You can save it to your machine, or you can save it to a USB stick. I save everything to my machine. It's fine. So I selected that. Now what I'm going to do, after I've turned this line into a running stitch and I've saved it, I'm then going to select the next button. And this is where I can change the stitch, the running pitch of the line. Basically, run pitch is basically all that means is stitch length. And I don't need to. I'm good to go on that. However, what I want to do now is take this over into the embroidery side of the machine. We're going to be going back in between IQ Designer and the embroidery side of the machine. So if you have a Solaris, you're going to see the word set right here. You can click that. If you have a Destiny, an Altair, or a Meridian, you're going to see the word preview down here, and I want you to select that. And it's going to say, are you sure? And you're going to say, okay. So once I hit my set or my preview, it's going to say, are you sure? And we're going to say, okay. Now, if you are on the Destiny Altair Meridian, you are now in a separate screen from me right now. And all you have to do at that point is select the word set and okay. So now you should be in the embroidery edit screen. And how you know that is you'll actually see it. Maybe, I don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody says embroidery down here, but if it says sewing or something different than that, you should see something that alludes to embroidery, and then also the edit screen at the top, right up here. I mean, excuse me, the edit button right up at the top. Now what we want to do is we want to add a little design, and I'm just going to do a letter again. So we want to do that now at this point. And how we do that is we're going to go down to the word add right down here at the bottom, left-hand area. I'm going to then select wherever, and whatever I want to select to embroider out, but I'm just going to go to my regular letters. And I really thought these lowercase letters in this font area, font grouping here, was really cute. That's where I took my A. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to look for the lowercase ones, and they're really super cute. And so I think I will do, what letter should I do now? I'll do a W. So I'm going to select this little W right here, and it's going to show up. Now, the size that it's in is pretty much the perfect size. We don't need to change anything. But if you needed to change the size, it comes into the large format when you select a letter. And if, let's say, you wanted to change it to a smaller format, right down here you have LMS, and that stands for large, medium, small. So once I select it, and you'll see what medium looks like. That's tiny. And small is even teensier. So I'm just going to click it till it's back on the large, and it works perfect for this. All right, so I've got that little W right there, and I'm going to now hit the word set. And what you will see, it's going to bring it right into the middle of your little outline here. Now, you can take and put this little guy anywhere you want. When I was designing it, I took it down to the bottom. I could leave it in the middle. I could put it at the top. I could bring in 3 of these and do that. I could spell a whole name if I wanted to. I could do, remember, you are the boss of your machine. You can put anything you want in there. However, I'm just going to do this one, and I'm going to bring it down to the bottom like I did the other one. So instead of me just dragging it down, I like everything to be kind of uniform. I'm going to go up to my edit key, and I'm going to then select my move key, and I'm just going to use the down arrow to bring it down to where I'm happy. And that's pretty good about right there for me. And then I will select OK to close. So now what I've got to do is I've got to make an outline of this letter. So let me brighten this up so I can get close and show you guys. Okay, so do you see the outline around my little A here? You see no quilting behind it, right? Okay. If I did not do that, and I brought my letter in right at this point and went over to IQ Designer to build my fill stitching, that fill stitching would stitch right on top, and we don't want that. So we're going to give it an outline. So over here, if you're not in your edit key, select the edit, and you're going to come down and you're going to look for a little flower. This is your outline key. Oh, let me make it a little less bright. There we go. I think I made that too bright for you guys. Okay. I'm going to then select him, the little flower. And what you'll notice is you have a dark outline going around your letter. And I like to move that outline a little bit away. So I figured that it was, I went ahead and used the plus sign. And what ended up looking good to me was about 0.024. You can move it as far away. Like, I think I'm going to move it a little bit further away on this letter. There we go. I'm happy with that. And if you can see, that outline is just sitting outside of my W here. I'm then going to, this is important, select memory. And it's going to say, hey, Anna, you're going to find this outline that you've just designed inside of IQ Designer from that shapes key list. And I'm going to say, okay, thanks. So I'll just say, okay. And now we're back here. You don't see the outline yet, right? That's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to now come to add. You will select your IQ Designer wherever it's at and in your screen. And look, there's nothing there, right? Oh, what do we do? Okay, we're going to do something first before we pull up that outline. We are going to pull up that rectangle that we designed earlier. So let's go back up, or let's go up to our recall key. And our recall key is always going to be this little pocket with an arrow going outside of it. So let's tap on that, and you will see the very first one will be your, your rectangle. So let's tap that and say okay. So if I were to click off of this, you can see there it is right there. There's my rectangle right there. Now, what I want to do is I want to take this rectangle and turn it into a no stitch line. I'm just going to use it for boundaries, okay? So I come up to my line properties, which is the grouping of 4 up at the top, and we're going to select that little piece of paper. And then we're going to select this key right down here. It is a satin stitch line with a red line through it. So let's tap that. And you notice all the colors gray out, because what's happening when I tell that line to be this property, it's not going to stitch out. It's just going to be a boundary. So then I'm going to select OK. I'm going to go up to my bucket, make sure I select my bucket, and then tap on that line. And what you'll notice, if you were to zoom in on that line looks like little marching ants. It's really tiny dashes. So that means it's not going to stitch out. I'm just using it as a boundary. So now what I want to do is go find that outline that I made earlier. And I'm going to come over here because it told me that I would find it underneath this key right here, the shapes key. They call it the stamp pattern list, but it's easier in my brain to remember it as a shapes key. So I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to look for that same flower that I used over on the embroidery side. And look, there it is right there. I'm going to tap on it, and I will notice that there's my W right there. So I'm going to click on her and then select OK. And you will notice it put it in the exact same spot as I had it in over in the embroidery side. So she's right there. Now what I want to do is the fun part is picking out the fill part that goes right here. So let's go to our fill properties. So instead of coming up here to our line properties, we're going to come down here to the next grouping of 4 icons. That is your fill properties, F-I-L-L. I speak funny, so it may be kind of hard to understand me. So we are going to go to this little piece of paper here. And this is where I can make those beautiful quilting-like fills on my fabric. I can use a stipple, or I can go to one of our beautiful decorative fills right here. If I click on this little button with the bubbles, you'll get this little guy pop up right here, this menu, and I'll select. And here are all of our fills. So you guys, you'll all have your fills there, and just decide on which fill you might like. So, what do I want to do on this one? Maybe I want to do more of a fun, different look. What would that be? Maybe the little circular bubbles here. I don't speak funny. Yeah, I got it. I got a little twang, a little bit, not too much. I speak Tallahassee. So right here, I'm going to select these cute little bubbles. I'm just going to tap on them. And once you find yours, actually, you know what? I kind of like these. I want to do these because they look like books. I know they're cubes, but these other parts look like books. I'm going to select that one. And when I'm ready selecting, I'm then going to select OK. And I can decide on a color if I want to. It's no big deal. And I'm just going to select OK again. Now what I have to do is come up back to those little grouping of 4 icons in the fill properties and select the bucket. And what I'm going to do is tap inside of my little rectangle but outside of my letter. Can I focus the camera? I will try it again. That's as focused as it's getting. So all I have to do is tap inside and look at there. So you see that the design is inside of my rectangle, but outside, but outside of my fill area, or excuse me, my outline area where my letter is going to go. So if I was happy with that, or, if I'm happy with choosing whichever one I chose, all I have to do is go next. This is where you can really change the look of your fill stitching. Those of you who are on a Destiny, an Altair, or a Meridian, or the Brother Life machines, your full outline will be on. If you look at the Solaris, you can see I have an opening right here. My outline isn't in there. And I think this may be the Solaris 2 update. If your full outline is off, what you're going to do first is come over here, and generally this is only for the Solaris 2, I believe. You're going to come over here to this little icon that has the little bubbles and a box around it, and it says off. I want you to click that and say on, and then okay. And now you'll see that you have the outline of your W now, and the outline of the rectangle. Now, right here at this point, guys, what you can do is you can change the size of your fill stitch. If you're on the Destiny Altair Meridian, you can't really see real time what you're changing it to. What you would have to do is select preview down at the bottom and then okay, and take a look at it. It'll kind of look like mine. If you're happy with that, you can hit set. If you're not, then you need to hit the word return. And remember, that is only for the Destiny, Altair, and Meridian, or the Brother Like machines. If you're on the Solaris, you can see it real time, what the stitching is going to look like. And I think I'm going to shrink mine down a little bit. So I'm going to come up to this button right here, which has 4 bubbles, and it has some little arrows on the top and the side there. Or excuse me, bottom and side. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go down to about 75% and select OK. That's looking kind of cool. I can deal with that. That looks good. I'll leave it like that. Now, if I was happy with the way that it looks, if I'm on the Altair, Meridian, or Destiny, I'm going to select the word preview, OK, set, OK. With the Solaris, we're just going to hit set, OK. And what you'll notice is it drops it right on top of our bookmark over in the embroidery screen. And you'll see your letter. How cool is that? Okay, now we just have 2 more steps. What we need to make now is, well, we've got all of our decoration done right here. What we need to make down is the back fabric tack down and the last satin stitching here. So 2 more steps. We're going to select the word add. We'll go to IQ Designer. We will go recall that rectangle shape. So we're going to come up to the pocket with the arrow, tap on that. We're going to use that same shape right here and select OK. Now with this, just like this, what I'm going to do, and this is just keeping stitching from piling up on top of stitching. Sometimes I find when I do these in the hoop projects, I'm just adding stitches upon stitches upon stitches. So I decided what I would do is take the size key, click on it, and I'm going to use the proportionally larger button, which is the box, the square with 4 arrows heading out, and click it 2 times. 1, 2. And it just made it up 2 clicks larger, not that much, but that stitching will sit to the side versus on top of the stitching we have previously made. It just makes me feel better. That's all this about. You don't have to, but it just makes me feel better. Also, what I want to do at this point is I want to come up here to my line properties, select my little piece of paper, and select the running stitch again. And then select a second color or a separate color. So I can select this purple here if I want to and say, okay. Make sure I turn on my bucket up here, not in the fill property, but in new line properties. Tap it and then tap directly on that rectangle line. It turned purple. That means I am ready to go. So let's select the word next. Again, if you're on an Altair, Meridian, or Destiny, you're going to see the word preview right here. I want you to select preview OK and then set OK. And I'm going to select set OK. Now what has happened is we have our tack down, our letter, our fill stitching, and now this is the back fabric and the little ribbon or tassel or whatever tack down. The last stitch we need to make now is this beautiful satin stitch on the edge. So we're going to go to Add. We're going to next go to IQ Designer. Thanks, Christina, for mentioning that for Alina. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to recall it one more time. So we're going to come up here to our little pocket with the arrow coming out. We're going to select the little guy again and select OK. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come up to our line properties right here. Select our little piece of paper. And we are going to make sure that the satin stitch is selected. And how I know it's already selected is it's kind of its default. However, it's got the blue box shaded in. And I'm going to select the color. So I'll do, let's see, a bright pink. So we'll do this pink here and OK. Now we need to assign it to that line. So we're going to select the bucket. I'm going to tap directly onto that line and it turned pink. And now I'm going to select next. And here's what I want you to do. Again, on the Solaris, you're going to see it real time. However, don't really worry about this too much if you're wanting to see what it looks like, because it's going to be fine. But what we do want to do, since we're making an in the hoop project, the size of the width of the stitch is at where it's set at default is way too small. So what we want to do is change that. It would not catch all the fabric nicely. So I'm going to select this key. It is the zigzag with the arrow going up and down. And I'm going to change it to 0.220. So it's going to say 0.220. I'm then going to select OK. And it made my stitch bigger. Now, if you don't see yours update like that, that is actually okay because you're probably on the Destiny Altair Meridian. All you have to do now is select the word preview, OK, set OK. And us that are on the Solaris today, we can hit set and OK. And guess what? You've just made a bookmark, a really quick and easy bookmark. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch it out together. So it'll just take a couple minutes, but I do like to show you how to get through all of it. So I'm then, so the next thing I want to do is select the word embroidery. So I'm in my embroidery. Now you notice we have 5 steps. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me return and I can show you easily what those 5 steps look like. So we've got our tack down, and we'll talk about what that means, tack down. You then have your letter. Then you will have your, oops, should have tapped that, your fill stitching. This is your tack on, or your stitch to tack on the back fabric, and then your final satin stitch. So good question. You can save it at any point now. So just in case, if you want to make a bunch of these with the same letter, or just in case like something happens and you got to walk away, you can go ahead and select memory or the pocket with the arrow going in, and you can save it to your machine or into a USB stick. Yes, Julie, 1 layer is perfect. Okay, so what I have now is, okay, let's get you. So my first stitch, let's get you guys facing the right way. And if you'll give me a split second. Somebody is trying to get out of the room. Let me go let Precious out real quick. And she runs my world. Here you go. Oh, careful. Jesus, girl. Dog's trying to knock herself out. Okay, I'm back. Do we combine? I'm not, Terry, I'm not quite sure of that question, but just watch and maybe this, what I show you next will answer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have my wash away stabilizer right here. I have my background piece fused to my usable fleece, or you'll have it on top of your batting piece, and you're just going to center it right there. And I've made it large enough that you don't have to scan or anything. So you're just going to center it in the center right there. If you want to use a piece of tape to hold it on, you're more than welcome to. Oh, let me change. You know what? I don't, my thread's fine. You'll be able to see it. So I'm then going to go ahead and slip it onto the machine and let it do what I call the tack down stitch. So I'm just going to let it tack this down. Thanks, Denise. Denise, I did get your email, just so you know, okay? I'll be getting that out to you. And the reason why, okay, you know, I'm a quilter at heart, so the reason why I love using either batting or something that's fluffy underneath my fabric is because I like everything to look quilted. I like to have that, you can see that puff, it's just me. If you didn't want it to puff, then you can leave this stuff out and put an underlay interfacing on the back of this fabric. Okay, perfect. So now what we have, if I turn you this way, is we have our letter that's going to stitch next. So my little W, I think I'll just leave that purple on for this part. That little W is now going to stitch out. Thanks, Judy. How you doing, girl? Wow, that stitching. Look how cute that fabric is. Oh my gosh. I can find out if you are looking for it. You can either get with me and I can get some, you can call the shop and we can get some sent to you. Or I can find out, I can't remember who makes it, but it's so stinking cute. And it's perfect for bookmarks, right? And it's got another one. I just can't remember what it looks like. So. Thanks, Cookie. Let me know if you need some. I know where to find it. Okay, just because I have to, and just because I am, can't do everything in all one color because that freaks me out, I'm going to change my thread color for my fill stitching. What do I want to do? I kind of want to do, I don't know. I don't know if that'll look that good. I think I'll just go ahead with the pink. I think I'll just go with the pink and we'll do the fill stitching with me. Yeah, Mickey, it's nice to have little things in your back pocket that you can quickly make. Yeah. Yeah, Judy, I know you'll use all kind of cute designs. Your stuff is super cute. So, okay, I'm going to put that down in there. Okay, so now it's going to be the fill stitching. So this might just take a moment, but that's fine. If you're stitching along with me, then, you know. Now, I know a lot of people don't read physical books a lot anymore, but I find myself loving, well, I've always loved to have a physical book. So I'm always looking for a bookmark and I'm like, well, I can make my own. Shoot, I can do that. All right, so here's the next part. Ready for this? Now what we're going to do is take the hoop off the machine, not the project out of the hoop. And we're just going to slide that off. Yeah, that fill stitch is super cool. And I'm going to flip it over to the back. Okay. I am then going to take my little, like I used a little bit of rickrack. And I'm going to take a piece of embroidery tape, whatever you like to use. There's many of them out there. Cut me a piece. And I'm going to lay this about, I don't know, almost a ½ inch in past that top stitching line and tape this guy up here out of the way. And then I'm going to take my piece, my back piece that's fused to my interfacing and just lay it on top. And again, I'm just going to tape down the sides so it doesn't get all icky or, you know, caught. So you definitely want something to hold it into place. Now, when I use tape, here's a little tip. It seems silly, but I don't tear my tape, I cut my tape. And the reason why I do that, especially if I'm going to use it on the back, is if you tear the tape, let me smooth that down. And I'll show you. If I take and I tear the tape, well, I tore that one really good, but let's say I tore the tape and it had like a piece like that, like that. That has the ability when it's underneath to go like this. So it seems to lay better if you cut it. Green masking tape. I don't know about green masking tape. I know some people use the blue painter's tape. I just like the ones that are formulated for embroidery because they are, yes, you do, Cookie. Because they're formulated to be a little bit stickier, and they, if the needle happens to go through it, they don't gum up the needles. R&K makes one, Kimberbell makes one. Some people use medical tape. I know there's a lot of medical professionals in here. So yeah. Okay. All right. So now what the next stitch is going to do is tack everything down to each other, and then we're going to trim. Now the running stitch always goes around twice. It's just what it does. It's just not something we can change. But it always goes around twice, and I'm actually okay with that because it's like a little extra security. So, oh, look, I just got some thread problems there. Yeah, well, that's easy to fix. Hey, it happens, right? I'll just clean that up. And oh, I'm about to go against my thread religion here. Normally you don't want to take your thread, and let me show you what I'm doing. And let me lighten this up for you. What you want to do, if your thread breaks and it's up in here and you can't cut it and pull it out this way, you don't want to pull it this way. What you want to do is go in the, start taking it out the way that you put it in. So just like this. There we go. Don't yank it out backwards. You got all kind of crazy springs and all that. Especially when you change thread, you always want to cut it here and pull it out this way. So I'm going to redo that real quick. And what makes thread break? Anything. When you're on camera, and that's what makes thread. When you're on camera and you're trying to do everything perfect. What I am going to do is drop my foot and give it a cut so it'll cut that bobbin thread. And I can always go and check and make sure there's no bird's nest. So there's a little bit of fluff there. So let me get that. Let's clean that up. There you go. Y'all have y'all got some good ideas on tape. Okay, let's get that out of there. And I'm just going to slide it back on. Now this needle I did put on earlier, so maybe it's just time for a new needle. We'll find out here in a minute. But I always want to back it up at least 20 stitches. So let me show you how to do that on your machine. See, I love when things happen, so I can show you guys what to do. So you're going to use your plus minus sign, and then you are going to select the -10, about 20 stitches. If you find you need to go back further, then just go back further. It's not going to hurt anything. And now I can finish my design, or finish this part of it. And if I find it's acting up again, the first thing I'm going to do is check my needle, but that looks good. So just got a little hiccup. All right, perfect. So now what I want to do is take the hoop off of the machine, not the project out of the hoop. And I'm going to trim away everything that's on the outside edges on the front and the back. I have a pair of applique scissors here that I'm just going to go and get really close to the stitching and trim it all off. The closer the better, that way it keeps you from having pokies. And if you've ever had pokies, you know what I'm talking about. Those are the ones that stick out of the satin stitch, and they're not that pretty. So try to get as close as possible. Sometimes you have to be a little bit of a contortionist to get really close, and that's okay too. Thank you for coming, Rosie. Almost there. And then I'm going to flip it to the back and do the same thing. But what I want to be mindful of is this little guy up here. So let's take the tape off. And a lot of these tapes are reusable until they lose their sticky. So I just kind of put them on the side of my little area. And okay, so I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm pulling this away. And I'm just going to start cutting really close and making sure that I don't pick up that piece of ribbon or whatever. I'm just going to lift it away and just make sure that I'm not going to cut that. Super done. I mean, super easy, super quick. Is it bill on bottom or top? Terry, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. And I'm just going to trim away all this excess on the back here. Are you asking if the fill? The fill will be on the front area. If that the scissors. Okay. The bill here. Okay. I use them all kind of wrong. I don't use it. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Okay, so yes, the right way is to have the bill on the bottom, but you know, I never do anything the right way anyways, so. But yes, you are supposed to use the bill, but I've been doing this for a really long time. I've got a good feel of things. I can feel things with scissors. I know that sounds really hysterical and weird, but I was a hairdresser for a long time. So scissors are like a second appendage to me. So I can tell when I'm hitting something. I can tell when I'm doing something wrong. So I have good control over them. But yes, you are really supposed to go like this and come in, especially because that way it'll help protect. But I find I can get closer doing it the other way. I don't follow rules. Rules are stupid. Just kidding. They're not. They're pretty awesome. Okay, yeah, these are the Quilter Select one, guys, if you're wondering what these are. And the reason why I like these is the duck. You have the duck bill, which I never liked before until I got these. But these have these really cool pointy edges, which means I can really get into things. And I absolutely love that. So that's something you can look into. Okay, so I've still got my piece taped down over my little ribbon or my rickrack. And yeah, Terry, they're awesome. So just to keep it out of the way. And now guess what our last stitch is? Oh, wait. Before I do that, our last stitch is a satin stitch, but I've got my purple bobbin that's going to match my purple thread on top. And this is the same embroidery thread. Now, I don't suggest doing a whole embroidery with like this, but satin stitching is going to be fine. So let me change my thread here. That's true, Cookie. I could just get the left-handed. Yeah, they make these in left-handed, guys, if you didn't know that, which is super nice of Quilter Select to do that, because I know there's a lot of lefties out there. But yeah, I could do that. I could just get a left-hand. And you know what's funny is when I was doing hair, I could do things ambidextrously because I was taught by a left-handed lady after I got out of school how to, because when you get out of hair school, that's when you learn. And she's still a good buddy of mine today, but she taught me how to do everything, and she was left-handed, so I learned how to do that. So I can cut, well, I don't do it anymore, but I could cut hair and all that left-handed. And people would, And it was back in the days when people still got perms, and I ruled everything left-handed. People were like, oh, you're left-handed. I'm like, no, I'm right-handed. I just, was taught this way. It's pretty funny. Now I can't use it to write or anything. That's a joke. Okay. All right, so I've got those back in there. Jenny, you will find you can go on to Quilter Select website, I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure they will have an area where you can go on and find a dealer who sells them. Okay, I'm now going to hit start, and let's finish this little project up. Now, again, remember, we widen that stitch so it'll go over the edges very nicely. If we would have left it at 0.08, it would have just barely made it over there. So you always want to widen that stitch if you've got something like this going on. Even in software, I would just make sure that it's a good size. Well, this is kind of cute. With these colors. Well, I guess I did the same thing here. So yeah, this is the other part of the fabric, or the other fabric line, or another fabric out of the line, and it's so cute. It's like eat, drink, or no, it says drink and read, drink tea and read books, keep calm, read on. Sorry, my weekend is all booked. Get it? Booked. We'll just let that finish up for a minute, and then we'll show you how to completely finish it up. You're welcome, Sophie. It's very doable. You can do anything. These machines seem scary. Don't let them be scary. It's just learning the techniques, and unfortunately, since a lot of us are down for COVID, which things are hopefully in your area are getting back open. Maybe your stores are opening back up and you're able to take your lessons. That's why a lot of us jumped on to make sure that you're able to use your machine and have a lot of fun while doing it and learn. There are so many great resources out there, a lot of Facebook groups. There's Missy B Stitching. There's she is great. There's Mama's Voice Designs. Linda Bratton has one. Lori's Inspiration Collaborations. The Baby Lock Angels by Richard Tharp. There's so many great educators out there teaching, and so I suggest you join all their groups. All right. Oh, it's done, and it's so stinking cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now cut this guy out of the hoop, basically. And what I'm going to do, and I'll take that off, is just get really close. I'll just take a pair of sharp scissors and just give it a little pop there, and just get really close to the edge. Just careful not to cut any of the stitches. Sorry, I'm moving it away from you guys, I know. But I'll show you here in just a second. Especially be careful when we're moving it over here. You don't want to cut your little piece off here. Thank you, Mickey. That's so sweet. And we really do appreciate all you guys. I mean, but think of it this way. For me, I don't do this for me. What I like to do, well, I am a natural born educator. That's just something that is just something I've always wanted to do. My mom said she always knew I'd be a teacher. She just didn't know what kind of teacher. But it actually has kept me going too, right? If you think about it, it gave me something to do. And I appreciate all you guys. And you've been here since the beginning. We grew and we grew quickly, and I am so thankful for every single one of you guys. Now I'm going to try to get a little bit closer here. I do have a little tea towel. Yes, it has bees on it. I know. Am I just not ridiculous? And what I have is a little thing of water. I don't suggest doing this at your don't suggest doing this here, but I'm going to be really careful. And I have some Q-tips. Oh, yes, Linda, we are not going, or at least I'm not going anywhere. Look at that beef out. I'm ridiculous. I found these tea towels at the dollar store, and I'm like, oh, I got to have those. I got to have those. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is really soak up my my Q-tip in just some water. And I'm just going to start rubbing it along the edge and just get it nice and wet. And what you'll start to notice is that stabilizer is just going to start disappearing. I'm not going to dunk this. And there's a reason why I don't like dunking things like this, is because I just want the satin stitch area to get wet, because if it gets wet and inside gets wet, when it dries, it kind of creates like a glue. So it's almost like sealing that, sealing those satin stitches. So it's kind of cool. So I just go all the way around and kind of just rub it. And it gets rid, or it melts, basically. I guess we could call it melting. It melts all that stuff hanging out on the edge here. Maybe we can get a little better view in there. Better lighting, maybe? Oh, wow, that's way better. So you can see from here to here, that's just going away. Oh, you're a dolphin collector. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, come to Florida, girl. There's a lot of dolphins here. A lot of dolphins. Well, not in my area, because you remember I am different Florida than what everybody thinks. Everybody's like, you're so pale, you're from Florida. I'm like, I ain't from Florida. I'm from basically South Georgia. So oh yes, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to Lynn, I'm not this is, like I said, this is very helpful for me. And it keeps me going. It keeps me thinking. It keeps me learning new things. I will always do this. I will always let you guys know, because we are starting to get bookings and such. If for some reason I'm not going to have it on a Sunday, I'll let you know, and we'll do it on another night. But remember, this coming up Wednesday is our foot fetish. But I don't know what foot we're going to do yet. I need to think about that tonight. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have anywhere to go. Now, if for some reason your little guy gets goopy, it really won't. Just get a new Q-tip. And honestly, you know, this may be it is a crazy way, and some people might be like, "Good God, why is she using that?" You know, wash away. And it, you know, might sound crazy. It's just the easiest I found to work with. Stabilizer gods are rolling in their little graves, I guess. But you know, it works for me. And that's what I always like to tell people. If it works for you, who am I to judge, you know, what, you know, like, who am I to tell you what to use? You do you, girls and gentlemen. All right, I'm almost all the way around. Oh, I'm gonna turn her. We are almost done. How exciting. I'm gonna drop some water to get that stuff getting moist and getting ready to pull away. All right, she's done. Now, when this was dry, what I'd like to do is I take it over to the iron. I'll flip it to this side. Always flip it to the wrong side. Put a pressing cloth or something like that on top because this is embroidery thread. And then just give it a good press and it'll come out nice and flat like that. How cute! So, well, that was quick. And you can go ahead and, you know, design quite a few of these. Let me get back on screen here. Get some color on my face. Hey, okay, hey guys. Oh, that's a lot of color. So you can go ahead and design a whole bunch of these and then just take your large hoop and just line them up and make them all together. If you want to make them for little gifts, because they are really kind of cute. I mean, like, you know, another little fun in the hoop project. I kind of like the rickrack. I'm kind of feeling it. At first I was like, oh, that looks tacky, but I'm the queen of tacky. I love tacky. So I should know I would have loved this. So yeah. So when you make them, make sure to post them because I love to see what y'all do. Let me see here what Betty has to say. Oh, I have a few thingies here, a few questions here. Great, Linda. Thanks, Linda. Let's see, Betty. Oh, Betty's a teacher. Awesome. So she says she teaches new owners on the embroidery side of their machines. Making bookmarks has been my go-to project. Yeah. Oh, great, Betty. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, thanks, Carol. Welcome. Welcome to the group, girl. We have fun here. Okay, so you know, you know what to do now. And again, I probably won't write directions because I've got some big projects that I have to work on and over the next couple weeks. And but just rewatch the video. If you don't know how to find the videos, there is a post at the very beginning of our page, and it walks you through how to go through finding. You're always going to go under topics and then look under Sunday Night Live, and they're all listed there. I will get the list updated too for you guys as well. But we did it. We made another fun project. How cute are these? So thank you guys. And remember, this Wednesday, I'll make a post. We will be doing our Foot Fetish Club again. And if you're new to us, Foot Fetish, we just started. We've only had one. Is about twice a month. I'm going to come on and go over a different foot. So even if it's not maybe you don't have a baby lock or a brother machine, that's okay. There's always going to be a foot that's similar, and maybe you can learn some cool techniques from it as well. So with that being said, Darlene, really, you have to ask me about that. You see it? It's right there. It's literally, I'm almost done quilting it or finishing it. She said, Darlene's like, how's that bird quilt coming along that you started like 6 months ago? It's there. You can see it. It's pretty, isn't it? Oh, that's a good idea, Mickey. Mickey uses a book and writes down everything as she goes along, and then she just makes it. That's a great idea. So, okay, guys, I finally decided on, and it may be, it'll probably be closer to the end of this month, but we're going to do another pay class. I finally got all the supplies for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But if my practice goes well, we're going to do it. And so keep an eye out for that too. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be really cool. And I have not seen anyone else out there design this in IQ Designer. Now it's out there, but I haven't seen anybody else design it in IQ Designer. So just keep an eye out for something special for another pay class. Okay, well, I hope everybody has a great week. I will see you all on Wednesday if you are able to come. If not, I'll see you next Sunday for another Facebook Live. Oh, wait, it's Mother's Day. I should be able to, I should be home by then to do that. So let's play it by ear for Mother's Day. But I may be with my mama. You know, I love my mama. And so we'll play it by ears for next Sunday. I hope you all have a great week. And if I don't happen to see you next Sunday, I wish all you mothers out there, grandmothers, dog mamas, cat mamas, every mama out there, happy Mother's Day. And I'll see y'all at least Wednesday. Y'all have a great week, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for supporting me. And remember to always shop small, shop local, and I'll see you soon. Have a great week, guys.